series of tapes, Psychology versus Theology, were recorded from classes held this year with the master teacher, Dr. Malachi York, also known to us as Naya Malachi Zadok El and Avenue Rakta, our own Pharaoh. Now listen with an open mind and heart as our Grand Master inflames you with only the truth. Allow your inner light to flow again and stamp out misinformation with only the facts. And now listen to the Supreme Grand Master, Naya Malachi Zadok El.
I was once a student of the Messenger. I never officially became part of the organization, primarily because of a lot of the same issues that were outlined in the book, Dr. Daoud versus Sheikh Daoud versus Farr. I had trouble with Farr, but on the other hand, I would not be standing right here were it not for the benefits that I received as a result of being part of the organization. And I just want some clarification because I know that a lot of times some of the comments that are made would give maybe newcomers or people first time, second time, third time the impression that HTM is against the Nation of Islam. I know that that's not the case, but let's talk about the relationship, if any. I mean, are there any relations between the organization? There are a lot of things that are very much common between the two, doctrines. But I'm trying to get some better understanding of what HTM's position is towards the Nation of Islam, towards the Messenger, towards the Shafar, because it would be really easy for me or anyone else to walk away thinking that the Nation of Islam are bad guys.
He made certain predictions about what to expect in the future in relation to his organization. One of the main things he said is that there won't be any successor after me, right, from the Nation of Islam. He made that real clear. He said, because I met with God, and I'm God's messenger, right. And therefore, you cannot have a successor after a person who meets God. Only God can come again. That's what he said. And then he went on to explain what he meant by that. To keep people from being self. He said, what I mean by that is, after me, a person is going to come. And he is going to do things. For instance, he will produce pamphlets by the hundreds. Like when we fall out the sky like rain. He will introduce you to a new language and a new name. He said he will not be of the Nation of Islam. Right? He'll call himself an angel incarnate. He said he'll come out of the east unto the west and be raised up among you. He's his own prophet. He'll produce a new book, a book that talks from here into the hereafter. And it'll be called the Book of Land. It'll be initiated by the land. You know him by these signs. Alright, so what happens is, Elijah Muhammad meets an untimely death, right? And meanwhile, an organization is in process. And on several occasions, he literally says, the man is already here, but y'all don't know him. The organization already exists. He made a literal statement that everything will change as of 1970. He said that when talking to Louis Lomax in an interview on the stage. And so the market, they said, Louis Lomax said to him, so the way the nation used to dress, Akbar only used to wear white robes. He said, well, I can't imagine anybody coming to a Christian who's pretending to be a news reporter. I can't imagine anybody coming to America and telling any black people anything in long white robes. Meanwhile, a group of people was growing in 1930 called Ansar Allah, or Nubian Islamic people, who wore long white robes and was passing out pamphlets, and thousands of Nubians in America were buying these pamphlets from these people while he was making the statement. He made it prior to the incident, actually, and in about a couple of years it started to happen. So what we were confronted with was more so, why are you not seeing that the prophecy of the messenger, Elijah Muhammad, has come to pass in another organization? What is the problem? Everything he said, you call him a prophet is generally identified by someone who prophesied. Right? You call him a messenger, he brought a message, he brought it to a certain level. Right? Elijah Muhammad had a very good program until certain individuals stepped in and started, ministers started, taking it, opinionating it. Alright. Everything was clear to us. Alright? The prophecies fulfilled themselves. Yet, in comes word to Muhammad. Out of Clearwood died in 1976 or 75, or then when he died. say today, income working Muhammad who had been out of the Nation of Islam, not even involved with Sunnis at the time, because he was off, he had got caught in drug trafficking problems, some little things, scandals, which anybody could be guilty of. I'm not trying to do that, I'm just saying, but he was not an active member of the Nation of Islam. He comes walking in, and family members override the fact that Farrakhan and all of us knew he thought he would be the rightful successor, even though the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said on countless times, there is no successor after me. Only God himself can come after me in person. And the problem is defining God himself according to their teachings, not according to Christian teachings, not according to Muslim teachings of the world, but if he said, we got to look at what he meant by God himself. He meant that another man is going to come like Farad, a man, and this man is going to be the wisest person on earth at the time. He'll be the wisest man, he'll be the supreme being. But remember, the Nation of Islam clearly stated that everybody is God, and all of y'all are God. And that amongst the gods, there must be one that is a teacher or a supreme being. And that's what is supreme and being. Christians often mistake with supreme being with supernatural being. And supernatural being or supernatural and supreme being are not the same thing when you start looking at words. So our problem came with why are we having such a hard time seeing that the prophecies of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was already fulfilled. And that the Nation of Islam, as he said, fell away. It fell apart even with Farrakhan and even with Word of Muhammad. It had died. And then they tried to resurrect it, and this is part of the prophecy too. He used Thessalonians as a quote of the Nation of Islam falling away and coming back. You know what I'm saying? And then this new organization, he said, is going to be appealing to everybody. He even talked about Islam. He said, you can unite everybody without the race here. He started changing the philosophy on racism there the last couple of speeches, if you backtrack. So our problem came up with Farrakhan, and we're like, why is Farrakhan pretending that this is not the organization? I mean, if he's my brother like anybody else, but why is he holding back so many people? And then I understand what great pretender means. Great pretender means when you have a million-man march that was really initiated by Christians, ministers, and that 90% of people there were Christians, but you take credit for it as if it's an Islamic million-man march, as if those people out there were a million black Muslims, when actually there was less than 5% of the people there were black Muslims. Then I understand pretending. Then I want to know, do you have another agenda? And then within the following couple of weeks you say, my new agenda is politics. Then again I reflect back on what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught when he said, do not get involved in politics and dragons, but you ain't got a chance. That's right. You're going to lose. So I said, so why is he telling us now to go down the path of politics when Elijah Muhammad said, so these, to me, should have been signs to the people in the Nation of Islam that Brother Farrakhan wants to be the leader more than he really wants to lead people in the right direction. And our word of Muhammad's sole purpose was to lead them back in the hands of failed Arabs, trying to turn them back over to them in their lives. Right? And that didn't work. Most people didn't follow him. So the people therefore were hungry, but not hungry enough to go back and research the prophecy, so that they can see if there's a man out here today that is fulfilling the prophecy. That's all. And they won't do that. So it appears that I have to keep coming back. Let me add it up. In 1990, Ansar al-Baqi as the Islamic people was very powerful as an organization. People in the white news all over it. They were trying to use us in movies like Brothers from Another Planet. They were using us like into Hare Krishnas. We were trying to pop up in movies, all of that groups was part of our organization. You see it, Queen Latifah, and they might put our flag, and we're moving. And of course, this is an economic war to get inside the black man's pocket between the new Islamic people and Islam is a concern. If that's your motive, you know what I'm saying? Then it becomes a concern. And a concern, so I saw that their followers would start to walk up on the street and say stuff like, y'all are this, and y'all are Muslims, and y'all are deviants, and so and so and so. So I said, okay. There's two ways to deal with this situation. One is, for me to tell our brothers, when they walk up to you, stand square off like you're supposed to, and say, well, so what you going to do about it? You know what I'm saying? Or you won't be since you want to fight. Then I said, that's exactly the devil would love to see. Would love to see two black organizations public in the streets of Manhattan. So they can make a big article about that. You know what I'm saying? And then tear us down. So I told our followers, the men just like the Nation of Islam, who had not the lick of fear in their heart, both sides of the shade, they intimidated us, FOI intimidated us, we had our own cause wars and stuff, we had our own army put together at that time to defend ourselves against pale Arabs. What are we thinking about? the Nation of Islam and brothers and sisters, we learned about the Pale Arab and how Nasir, the one who assassinated Rabbi Fahem James, would come to our class and try to lure me in so they can assassinate me. We know that the Arabs have a contract out on me to kill me because they want to stop me because I'm stopping you from going back into Arab slavery called Islam. So the thing is, they can't deal with me because I speak Arabic, I speak English, they can't, like MC Hammer, they can't touch me. Waiting out from amongst you, out in the east and in the west, who's legit. So I said, we got a war going on with these Sunni Muslims, you know, and people like Siraj Bahad, a brother who was a minister, student in the Nation of Islam, he defended the Umzah Islam, and he's bad mouthing Farrakhan, and bad mouthing us. I'm looking at this, I'm saying, this can go into a Muslim war. The Ansars, the Nation of Islam, and the Black Sunnis. And the only one that's going to profit from that is the Islamic Arab, because neither the Nation of Islam to me, or the Sunni Muslims were able to see that Muhammad al-Islamiyah, that Islamic group, was sent here to destroy our black unity. That was part of the Muslim game, to divide us against each other. So what I did is I came up with a solution. I said, Ansar got so much stuff to be involved in, we do not have to be involved in the Lamb book and trying to explain their lessons to them. Because I told myself doing the Lamb book to show the similarity, because of my knowledge of Arabic, of the similarity to what the messenger was teaching, and how it could blend in with fundamental Islam. If they want to take it that way and eliminate the unnecessary army, I can prove that Allah comes down to earth as a man. It's in the Quran in Arabic. But being nobody Nation of Islam to speak Arabic at the time, well enough, they couldn't do it, and it always made my brothers look stupid. And the Pale Arabs loved that because the foundation of their organization was that we're a black family and we should be together. And that's the only thing that bothered them was the fact that they were talking black Islam. So I wrote an apology. I said, okay, personally I put my pride aside. And I wrote an apology to the Nation of Islam and told all my followers to take the Lamb book and run it. This is a book that we paid to get rid of. $1,000. It's to get out of a war that we don't need. My brothers were starting to get fed up with them, whooping them. And I'm not there. All of them said, I don't you need a man like me that has no opinion. They started to get mad. How do I stop each man on the street? They walk with him and grab him in the collar. Then what's he going to do? He's going to defend himself. When he punches one of them, then they're going to go to the temple, bring back FOI. And then his brother's going to come back to Brooklyn and bring us, and there's going to be a war. And the devil's going to be filming this, picturing this, see us, and make a beautiful. So I said, I'll apologize. And I said, listen, the message is what I left. The message of the message is right in that. And I was talking about when he said, do for self. Go for self. But ain't nobody going to help us. This kind of stuff here. This is the latest newspaper. In Macon, Georgia. I got a color picture on the cover. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the color picture of you on the cover of Macon, Georgia. A black man. If you read it, you'll find out they don't even know nothing about us. Right? They say stupid stuff like, it's a compound. Then they quote the code in the county of Edenton where we're registered as a residential area. That they fought against us, but that eventually the board of permission approved us becoming a community. So we're not a compound of a military base. So the person who wrote it has a motive. They say you can't go in. And they're saying they do pictures of it. They got pictures, they're making it look like we're not on the roadside. It's just a long path that leads to, you know, a safe and everybody knows we're right out. The office is right here, you don't walk and stand in front of it. And you can see it from the road. They're trying to make it look like we're back in the woods somewhere. To raise curiosity. Then they make some statements and they use a couple of names. The people's names they use really can't say nothing bad. Stay quiet, you don't bother nobody. But then other people who they have bad statements for, they say, these people do not want us to use their name. Because there's no way we'll know if these people really exist. You go to the person and say, if I try to go to this person's house, they're going to say, would you like to know about us? The doors are open. They may look like y'all not sitting here today. It's a secret organization. Some of y'all are here for the first time, right? And you come in here and walk up there and find out what it's about. They make it look like that doesn't happen. That we're some secret organization that nobody said, well, when you pull up, it's up right there. When you pull up, you see a maroon Shriner flag and a blue Masonic flag. But we don't know what they're about. They have, it's not a religion. It's a fraternity, a fraternal order, and they have secrets. You know, Angels are called the Shriner or Knights of Columbus, or you don't have secrets. This kind of stuff. Know why it's bothering them? It's bothering them because this was the suburbs of Eden. Where you're at. We're in the suburbs. And they're building pyramids up there. And we read the article, they couldn't say one thing about our racism here. They couldn't say it's a black organization. They couldn't say it's anti-white. They couldn't say it's black supremacy. So they targeted what they thought would space people up. And the title says, From Planet Rizq to Putnam. Their leader says, speak from the 19th galaxy, Planet Rizq. You leave it. They go back around and keep that supposed to make you say, what? You know? We go to Revelation 21 and start reading and find out that it says that there's a city coming out of heaven. And that Jesus informed that city. Now, whether you go up there and read it, you know what I'm talking about. Real clear in the book of Revelation, that they mean, even in their four translations, that describes a city coming out of heaven, and Jesus is on it, and it's coming to get a certain amount of people. Now, because of the hell-box situation, these people are confronted with a reality that is an actual meteorite, also mentioned in here. In Revelation again, 9, speaks about a great star falling from heaven into the earth. And they have it called wormwood, and the folk called hellbox wormwood. And it changed its course now, everybody knows it. So now they're scared. And they see a group of people in the heart of Georgia, you people, doing your own thing. That was obvious. Well, you know what a cult is? A cult is a group of people that have one leader, and whatever he says or she says, everybody does. You say, you like me, Swagger, or all of them that were considered normal Christians until they went out and did some outlandish activity in America, and now they're back to being normal Christians. But you talk to, you say, no, like Jim Jones. And say, knock, 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 hello? Is anybody in there? The lights are on. Jim Jones was not black, he was white. And you say, and like David Koresh, knock, 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 knock. Hello? Is anybody home? David Koresh was not black, he was white. Now we got another group out in California, they go to knock, 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 knock. Hello? You know what I'm saying? Hello? Heavy Gate leader? Caucasian, not black. Could you please give us a black organization where we go off and commit suicide? There's no history of us going off and commit suicide. So now, because our leaders don't ever have that much control over us. If it was, y'all would be sitting there saying, okay, now, we have to do something else. Don't come in here like this. Listen to everything he said. Y'all find out what this person or what these people are teaching is true. You come in here to criticize or to critique or to learn. Unlike going before most churches, the guy goes, you better shut up. And then tell why people beat you up. You did not have nobody told you to come here, but following them because they see that area lined with cars. And they see a bunch of people, families, walking across the field into a building. Something that happens on Sunday all across this country. It's called church service. As long as you belong to one of the denominations that they have put their seal of approval on, which in most cases portrays us as less than human. As long as I will go, if they walked in here one time into a big old cross up there with a blonde hair and blue eyes, Jesus ain't there, you're on. Shut up, people want to fight, come on. Like, move the cameras out, he's saying you're American here. Because they had to wait until David Koresh, according to them, was calling himself Jesus before they got mad. Who got mad? Christian ministers who could have just as well proved David Koresh wrong. But it's so much easier to just go kill him and shut him up. It's economically. See, before David Koresh might make a fool out of them by pointing out things in the Bible they don't see, like Jesus came as a man. You might say, well, Jesus comes as a man, right? So God and Jesus, God comes as a man, right? Okay, now, there's little simple things we're throwing off, so it's so much easier just to go back. So now they see out here from this land, they got the dates wrong, they got the pipe and paper land wrong, they got all this, they got the names, they quoted my name. Let me see what they quoted my name. This is real cute. This is the way they play. Let me show you what they give my name. Let's just say my name is Reverend John Henry Smith Jr. You got that? You remember that? Reverend John Henry Smith. That's the name. Got 4 bars to it. If I want to make you sound like you got a lot of different names, I say, you are Bob, Robert, right? Bob what? I don't need Robert, but Bob is Robert. Bob, John, and Mary. Next time I say, you're Robert Smith Jr. Next time I say, you're Robert John Smith Jr. The sixth time I say, Reverend John, and I can keep it, once I add the reference, I can vary the names again. Look at the paper. Esau, Bella, Muhammad. Esau had no man. He's the same name, different move names out the wood. Esau, Bella, Muhammad. If you take my middle name, Illical Bartown thrown away, then I become Esau Muhammad. If you add a Haji, which means the guy is in, then you add Imam, which means Reverend on, it starts to look like the name is changing. That's how I was done as soon as they it changed his name. It's so sad that all Muslims in New Arabic, if you look at my name, realize I'm not changing my name. I'm doing the same thing people do when they drop titles. I said, I'm not Imam because I'm no longer leading Muslims, so it's not fair for me to call myself Imam. Point blank, if I come down south here and come and move in the land and my name is Isa Muhammad, I'm going to be stereotyped as a right? Right, well, Arab, right, and that's terrorism makes that. So I'm not going in there like that. I'll use my family name on my mother's side, not my family name on my father's side, which is obviously my prerogative and legal because I have a passport now in the name. So they acknowledge the name Malachi D. York. The passport issued from the government. So I can do that. I can use my mother's name, or I can use my father's name. If I'm out of Islam and I'm into right knowledge, I don't want to have an Islamic name because people just see the crescent on our hat and say, oh, you're all Muslim? Because the crescent is synonymous now with Muslim and not moon worship like it should be. So we have that's the name situation here. The dates are wrong. The fact is, a company says there's a big monolith, so let's call it, a pylon, but with a closing gate. You see any gate out there? No. You have to ask yourself, why are they doing that? And why are the Nubians in Macon who work in this paper, who drive by here not saying, why are you doing that? You know what I'm saying? Because y'all said out there in the Christian church, white people say, don't go to the inside their business. Why is this here? I'll tell you why this is here. And if you drive to Milledgeville right now, as you're approaching into Milledgeville, there's a new church that started out as a mobile home, and they within a year have built this big church out there. Soon you come into Milledgeville to your left, right? No investigation. Don't know who the reverend is. I drive all the time. I watch the building so fast. I'm like, no. Right off the road. See that? Coffee out there. Nobody wants to know who they are. Go to drive through Milledgeville to your left. You see a new church is back there. Nobody wants to know who they are. Why? I'll tell you why. But they don't want us to have anything of our own. They are starting to come to our classes. Caucasians, last week, 2 of them, week before, 3 of them, they want this. They got Judaism, Christianity, Satanism, they got all kinds. They got New Age, Third World, they got all kinds of crap. This is something new that they say has started within the last 4 years, and we got it. It's our stuff. We out there building pyramids. They have nothing to do with pyramids in history, other than going over there and misinterpreting how they got built. And I'm telling you, we just say something. If I can. I'm telling you what stupid is. Stupid is. How did the Egyptians move these massive rocks? Go to Florida, to Coral Castle, a white man sits off at Coral Castle, built a whole stone castle in what he called tribute to his sweet 16 who coming for another star. He did a universe. They heard about the Coral Castle. The man's name is Edward Lee Allen, who worked with Tesla, by the way. And you know Tesla. This man moved massive stones, and they got to get a tape on it. They would hide the bushes. He would know when they come. And he would just stop working. They got all this stuff. They might be far, right? He would stop working. And then he would tell them, I feel y'all. Why you can be sneaking around doing this? They got here speaking, we catch my head. I know it's something, the brother said, come on in. You know, you don't let go out there just before you stay on that road and get smashed by one of these trucks. You know, they say we did it. Walk out here and step on the floor. I see all of you So I say, pull on in and get out and walk around. Don't go over there. That private property of the people's houses, which they say in the paper, well, we have at least 26 people who I think they said registered to vote. What other cult goes into the township to vote? Now we are isolated. We don't participate with anything going on. All of the KKK, and all these white people down here, around small minority groups, are so afraid of us because we're so isolated about we go to town to vote. Which means we walk into town and we walk in and we sign our name, who we are, we register with the center. You know, we have out here registered 26 people. And that means registered as what? Registered in what? Our community. How do you become a compound? Oh, some unanimous person said he sees rifle poking security guards. But the problem is they think we're stupid enough to help our rifles like this. So they don't go this. Hey, if you smash the people in Waco and they don't come, thank you. If you went out to Ruby Rick and shot their children, that man's children, and he was one of y'all KKK members, hell, we know what you do to us. So how we walking around here with a little drop gun, so we can fly over and just drop them on. We're not that stupid. That's the problem. They think all them people do it. They're not even up the gate where our mind is going now. How fast we're moving. They're so slow, they still think we're spinning on the floor. Look, break down. Look, I'll say another whole level down. I'm telling you the truth. So these kind of things are here. You know what you're supposed to do? Folks maybe say, I ain't going out there. Y'all folks still here. So then they're going to get, and the more we instruct of Egypt, and when they walk with the guy by the Egyptian head speakers, and they hear children singing in their own language, why? They didn't have They have their own language. Because that was called for certain scholars in the country today. What do you mean their own language? What language is it? It would bring the intellectuals. And they can't have the intellectuals come here because the intellectuals will come here and they will start to read our books. And then they'll say, the man from planet Rizq, Jesus came from planet Orion, according to your Bible. You understand? He said his Father, in my Father's house there are many. So he said his Father's house in heaven, his house up there in heaven. How come that makes sense? How come you sit in your church and say something like that, where it says, in my Father's house there are many mansions, meaning Jesus has a heavenly Father, but he said in Matthew 6, our Father who art in heaven. And up there he has constructed mansions. Then you say, that's not literal. So how come you don't come and ask me what I mean by man from planet Rizq, and what is literal and what is unliteral about whatever? Because one of the other uses is where you right. I say that something is coming for us.
Think about that now.
Hey, that sounds strange to you as a Christian? Let me take off the word reveal. And the name they add on hell and box. Let me move that. And let me go back to say that your heavenly Father is sending his heavenly host. And Jesus is at the head of them to come get you out this mess. He's coming to get you out this mess. It's called the bracket in the church. And we have come around and sat in our churches and we have cried and we have prayed. We got possessed and bounced around on the floor like a fish out of water. Then he comes. I know he's coming. My Savior is coming. Coming to save me and you if you allow him into your life as your personal Savior. You understand? Now does that sound like I'm saying I'm Jesus? No. But before anybody comes, they always send a 4-1. Why can't I be a 4-1? Because I'm black? It must be a white boy, huh? I mean, because it wasn't about anything but white, because some young moon said he was a 4-1 because he was 40 years old, smashed them. A man popped up in London called McClare. He was an Indian and said he was a 4-1, they smashed him. Over there now in India, there's a guy called Sai Baba. They go after him. They go after him. They go, and the day
after all this dirt. It's all right to believe he's coming to save our souls. But then when I started trying to cue in on what to look for, I don't know why they don't say I'm fortunate. Because somebody's coming to save me, and I'm in the airport, the niggas flying the airport. The reason why people hold up signs like this and say, Johnson, is because of the chauffeur and the person traveling to make some type of ritual contact. Johnson, the limousines out here. And they usually tell you from the limousine service, you'll be wearing this tall fat man or something, on the reservation. Now I'm saying, you need to tell me what my chauffeur, who's going to chauffeur me out of this mess hell, the heaven is going to look like. And because I'm starting to inquire now, because it is obvious that Mother Nature has got man on the run. Floods, earthquakes, landslides, and militia groups. Militia groups in the country mean that Americans are no longer respecting the Constitution. The Constitution tells them that they're not satisfied. Rise up. That's right. Those are not black groups. And saying, now, if you can't manage your country, I'm supposed to country. Your people are getting scared. They got easy streets. I'm not supposed to be scared. Your people were rebelling against you and setting up militia groups and all kinds of stuff and down roads and FBI buildings in Oklahoma. You got to worry about damn holiday. I'm not supposed to worry. You been kicking me in the butt for 300 years. The moment you get drunk, the first thing comes to your mind is put on a sheet and write my name and call me names. And I'm not supposed to worry when I see young people getting scared. When I was a young boy, the most we heard of was KKK. Now I'm an old man. I hear skinheads, alien nation, the white world, the KKK, white supremacists, whatever, freemen. There's about 100 of them out there now. And I can't have one little organization to myself without you want to come in here. Write articles about us and me. And if you read the article, it's obvious that they couldn't dig up no terrorists. The sheriff himself said, I have had no reports of any crimes out there, any added. And if I do, I'm going to deal with them the way I deal with anybody else. Meaning, you're not going to color my opinion by yours. I'm not going out there banging on heads without going out there to investigate. The funny part about that newspaper that kid is reading there, the girl that they're talking about, whose mother gave him a telephone call, they're lying their butts off. The girl they're talking about still is in the community, never down here. And her mother is a part of the organization now. That's the stuff we spoke from her. She was lying. You know what they came out here? Because they were visiting here in the future. She heard her daughter standing by, and her I told her husband, you and your wife go out there and talk to your mother about the sheriff within it, the whole way out to your mother, and then come on in and tell her the sheriff, she's all right. You know the sheriff? I'm all right. The sheriff has they sat out there and talked about it. They went home. Mother from New York, she had a room, her daughter got pregnant. She said that's the daughter's husband. She's 117. So over 18 years to 21 years old. What are you talking about 17? So this is how they create. They didn't have anything. You notice they never once said doctor. They never once got over education. Because they would have had to say, this man graduated from University in Cairo, University in England, he was so-and-so, this is better than when you do. So they would have to say that, and I'll make another grandson white today. Another problem. When you read the article, you can see that they repeat, then they go get a guy who's a cult buster. Yeah. And he said, according to me, these people have all the workings of a cult. And then the definition of a cult is an organization that's culture that is not mainstream culture. That's not a cult, stupid. Let me look at your own definition. You don't have a definition of a cult. Meanwhile, he is an organization that goes out to investigate cults. Hello? You are a cult. You're a cult because you're making cultures to go into other people's private lives and investigate them because of your belief about what they believe. You're a cult, fool. It's a sad situation that we have something going out here. A family thing happening to buy, people coming, some of the people here wasn't here last week, some of them be sued by Junior, so no one's saying. I didn't have to do it. In that paper, she said they have no set date as of yet from where they're going to have their annual gathering when everybody can come out and walk through their compound and families can visit. Most people who live there, their mothers and fathers live there with them. It is not a child thing where everybody's relatives are here. Mothers and fathers convert. Read the book of Malachi. It tells you what I'm here to do. I'm here to turn the hearts of fathers to their children. Something you could not do. And it's happening. Most of the people here, parents are now starting to read. Some of you people here, your mothers and fathers are starting to read the books now. And that's what they say, hold on, don't do that. Because you put it in the air. It will come around. Because you go right with the right example. Don't go just hyper on your safety. If they see that you ain't drinking and drugging and hanging out like some stupid and trying to take care of your wife and your kids and talking about going to school and getting a Christian education, and which is what we teach, the mother and father see it different. But we yourself, and they know that. They see that we have the power to stop danger. They see, I got young boys tying their shoes up and pulling their pants up. All these young boys there with hip-hop standing around here. You know, this is wrong hip-hop over there. All these young boys there, they came out here, they pants down, sleeping on top of them. Boy, like drugs. And now they stand up there and start to slowly but surely make a metamorphosis so they can fit into mainstream, so we can do something about improving our way of life. So we can get our piece of the pie. The problem is, there's so many other people in the country, and everybody taking slices out the pie, that if you ain't no people, us who built the country. There's Koreans in here, there's Chinese in here, there's everybody in the country, everybody is a slice of pie. Now we're coming around to get our slice of pie. They ain't no more pie. So what are you going to do outside and visualize? This is bad with you. It's our own pie. And when I tell you, I don't trust your opinion no more. Especially when it comes to me. Because you have double standards. You understand? I saw with my own eyes what you did to Rodney King. Nobody had to tell me about Rodney King. I saw it. And those men are not in jail for attempt murder. Just because they belong to an organization you established and I paid for by my tax. I saw double standards in O.J. case. How can a man be found not guilty but liable for a charge that he's not guilty? Even he killed him or he did. If he didn't kill him, then you can't take money out of his bank. Then he killed him. So I see that the system just doesn't mean. You understand? I understand crime doesn't pay, meaning all the criminals don't pay. All of us. We pay. I can see these things. Like I said, I am not a Farrakhan problem. Like a Farrakhan, if someone wants to give him $1 million to improve the conditions of black people, how are you going to tell them no? You got to make a new law. And they're going to say, by all means, take $1 billion and start a new anti-black political party. Give them the heat. Come on, man. When you made the statement, you knew doggone well it wasn't going to let him take. How are you going to tell me that you believe, with all the pressure you've been under, and just 4 years ago you were screaming, they're going to kill me, they're going to kill me, I know they're going to kill me, nobody's going to kill me. You understand? I was out wrong. And now you're going, public television say, a white man who's anti-American called Gaddafi is going to give me $1 billion instead of a political agenda against America. And Americans will say, oh, that's very bad. Well, come on in with him. I didn't tell us you plan on overthrowing the country. Start doing stuff like that and saying stuff like that, it makes me kind of wonder. And it doesn't surprise me that you're going under. But it makes me kind of wonder whose side you're on. Because I can't believe you can make a public statement like that and they will do $1 billion. Go start some black political group to overthrow America. Come on. And you better become conscious and listen to what people are talking about. If I'm saying, look at it, just look at it, look at the paper. They don't have nothing. They couldn't dirty me up if they wanted. They tried. No way. Because if you read the next like they repeat themselves 4 times to make it look long. We know they repeat themselves over and over again. So they don't know what to say. Right. They didn't come out here and ask me. That's not true. They didn't ask me about the interview. But they want an interview, they could be sitting here right now and ask me. Because I'm here on Sunday. Like all the other reverends and preachers and pastors and teachers who reach out people on Sunday, because Sunday represents us. Wrong.